Like we said, the Trump taxes thing is an interesting timed issue, because it does kind of sound like, you know, it's meant to come out right before the election. But we got to remember that I think last week the Hunter Biden thing came out about him and his ties to Eastern Europe financially and whatnot, and the
Yeah.
$3.5 million check that he
Mhm.
received from the wife of the ex-mayor of Moscow, who was ousted as mayor of Moscow about a decade ago because of corruption.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of something that. Now, again, I'm not going to take the side and say, "Oh, yeah, well, people just want to get Trump for Russia," but look at Biden. No, I think that they're probably all in the same boat here. They probably all know what the other one's doing, and they know the other one gets caught. They're probably going to get caught. I mean,
Yeah.
right? So it'd be interesting, I think, to see, because I think despite that last statement, Trump is going to use it. He's going to somehow call into question Joe Biden's son Hunter and bring up this issue that broke last week. But I mean, timing is everything, and this Trump tax story just came out 2 days ago, and it's still on everybody's mind. People are
Yeah.
still thinking about it. It's so fresh, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, like we mentioned the pussy tape, that seemed like it was gonna sink him. That like when the pussy tape came out, I thought Trump was done. I didn't think there was a chance in hell he could win. But again, it seemed like it affected the people who had already made a decision. Kind of
Yeah.
like what you were saying with this debate and whatnot. And I think what was really interesting about the Trump tax thing is that the people who really reacted to it were the people that you would expect to react to it. A lot of the faction of social media that I've been identifying with this election season, that kind of turned off by both sides, like former, disgruntled Bernie supporters, independents, uh, logical libertarians, they didn't take the Trump tax story as a big deal. And that was kind of something that's just like, I mean, I think that struck me as odd, and it kind of turned me off a little bit. I was like, come on, this is a, I said it in the piece, but I think it's like someone referred to Trump's evasion of paying his taxes as baller. And I'm like, well, I think it's a little bit more baller for a single mother of three living in Whittier, California, to be dodging her taxes and getting away with it. Not really some clown in a suit that sits in a gold towel.
Yeah. Well, it's not like he dodged his taxes. You know, the way the corporate, the way the tax, the way taxes works for these business owners and stuff is you make an investment, and you can claim it off your taxes, I believe. Or if you make losses, that can also be taken out of your taxes. Yeah, the thing is, the tax code is so complex that if you hire a good tax lawyer, a good accountant, good, those sorts of people,
Yeah,
you could probably end up paying less taxes.
sure. And I
And
don't.
and don't get me wrong, no one likes paying taxes.
No, I totally agree with that, and I get the the issues with the system itself.
Yeah. So I think what you're saying is how you have these people that are obviously disaffected from the left, and similarly on the right and all sorts of places, and they're like going like no big deal. It's because the saying, hate the player, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah, but you can you
You can
can
easily reference that in this whole.
And I get that. And I get that. And that's fine. You can hate don't hate the player, hate the game. I get it. I mean, but God, I mean, like when the player doesn't need to like use cheat codes, when they were pretty much doing all right as it is, and they're using cheat codes while all these other people are basically in a position where you can't just hire a really good tax guru to let you tiptoe around, the wonderful world of finances. So it's I think it's a little bit bad taste for just the everyman, the every woman out there that sees that and says, "Look, that's a little bit of bullshit because I pay my full bracket in full." Ann Coulter posted on Twitter like that. I agree with Ann Coulter on this issue. She said that people who said that Trump's smart for not paying his taxes are completely like brainwashed into just complete bullshit. Like that's the most corrupt thing that you can do. Ann Coulter is such a successful writer and whatnot. She claims that every year for like since she's been making a massive income, she's been paying 50% of her taxes. She has every right to be pissed off. Everybody who has played the rules, played the game by the rules, whether or not those rules are fucked up or not, like people stuck to them under the idea that, okay, well, I'm going to do my part. And I know that people aren't necessarily financially equipped to cut corners. And I don't like to use the simple word.
We live in a society.
I know we live in a society, but this is where fucking financial privilege is really playing so much into it. It's such a class issue. And that's the thing that should be pissing everybody off, because that's the thing that should draw everybody in. And so people who kind of just brush off the tax thing, and I get it. It's like the same thing with the Woodward thing that came out 3 weeks ago. What Woodward said, we all kind of knew. Like, don't make it into a big deal. We all knew it. Trump said in 2016 that he doesn't pay his taxes and that he's smart.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. It's not a bombshell. But it should be like we should look at that. We should condemn that. That's pretty sleazy. That's a lousy thing to do.
Well, if he did nothing illegal, then he did nothing wrong. In which case, it's a problem with the system.
Yeah, and I know, and that's fine. But legality does not equate to morality, my friend. It does not. And the fact is that he cut corners because he knew he could, and he's doing it in the face of people who can't, and people who are suffering. And all the while, it's all gone along as the train of time has gotten to the point where we are now. We have a Congress that is incapable of getting a stimulus package put through to keep people out of poverty, and all the while you got Republicans pushing ahead to get a Supreme Court nominee through, and then Senate Democrats are just letting it happen.
Well, Senate Democrats really can't do anything about it.
What have Republicans done so well for the last decade? Especially when they're in the minority. They disrupt. They don't let shit happen. It's annoying, it's wrong, but that's like, I don't know what you want. Like, if you really believe that protecting Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dying wish, even though it's not really her dying wish, and I hate it when people use it like that, wouldn't you do everything in your power to stop it? You'd think so. But they're Democrats. They're spineless. So what do we expect?
Yeah.
Republicans are heartless. Democrats are spineless. Perhaps brainless.
Yeah.